Okay, I'd like to bring this Ways and Means Committee to order this Tuesday, October 2nd. Dan, will you take roll call, please?
Lutz?
Yes.
Duranta?
Here.
Krieger?
Yes.
Begic?
Here.
Hunan?
Here.
Ryder?
Here.
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 One present.
So we have the minutes of 9/4.
So moved.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on those? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, we have public input. Those that wish to come before the committee from the public can do so at this time. Just step to the podium and we'll give you some time to speak. See that they're rushing the podium? We will move on. Under Petitions and Communications, we have the Bay County Prosecutor, the request for funds to pay necessary expert witnesses.
Yes, mine, it should be yours.
What is your pleasure?
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Commissioner Brigade. Is there anybody here from the prosecutor's office? They can answer any questions that might arise.
So we talked before, having been an expert witness before, it's sort of a quid pro quo thing. They do it, so you got to do it. The fees are getting pretty high. I don't know how much control we have over the fees. You want to get an expert witness, you got to pay the big money. And it's like this lady's had quite a bit of experience. Resume's pretty long, 50-some pages. So I think we're sort of between a rock and a hard place. If they have and also we're paying for that expert witness if it's indigent defense. I would imagine that case is indigent defense.
Correct.
Lawyer.
There's been a request made by the defendant's counsel. Defendant is being represented by SATO, State Appellate Division, and they made a request to the court. In the court, my understanding, it was a sealed order, so I think the whole amount was $17,500 was requested. So at this point, the people are assuming that's what was ordered. We do not know. Also, as to the expert, this is a new area in the law, so there are not a lot of people that are, I guess, signing up to do it. Myself, Chief Assistant Jeff Stroud, Appellate Attorney Sylvia Linton from my office, went to a conference of sort of roundtable put on by PAM, the Prosecuting Attorneys Association, representatives from Wayne, Oakland, Kent, Saginaw, St. Clair, not sure the other places, Genesee, and we had discussions about how to proceed in this area of the law, and everyone is still truly trying to determine how to proceed. But we have timetables that have been given to us by the court and hearing dates that have been set, so we must meet those dates. And this individual had worked for the Genesee County on different issues, and she also had worked with someone that we had used as an expert before, who is no longer alive. So I knew Dr. Charles Clark, and he did work for our office on other matters. So this is the one person that said that she would take on this challenge.
Anything else? Commissioner Hare.
So this amount, like, you have 17,500 in here as a start. So this money is just for the defendant's witness.
No, this is for our witness.
It's for our witness. So
yes.
I'm just reading. I read it before. Every time I just get maybe a little more confused every time I read this. So he filed a motion requesting funds to retain an expert witness. Okay. So and you don't know what that amount is.
Correct.
So this is just for our witness, the 20,000. But is there any way that, I mean, is it that specialized, where it can't be, like it's $20,000? I mean, are the records that hard to go through?
This case is from, the crime was committed in 1994. He was convicted and sentenced in 1995. So it's the volume. There are other cases if a juvenile was to commit a life offense under this new statute, this new practice of the law. What you would have to look at, obviously, would be a lot less. This individual, I think, is 40 years old, 43 years old. So then you have all this time that he's been in prison that has to be evaluated. And what's happening is now the law is requiring us to, in essence, go back in time and make determinations about his upbringing, his thought processes, what made him commit this crime. And when you have to go back all those years to make that determination, that increases the volume of what you're looking at.
So this person you chose, are they also a psychologist, or you just mentioned, so they're just not, so they're a medical doctor and a psychologist, or just a medical, give me a little bit more about her.
Okay. Her name is Alyssa P. Benedek.
I didn't look at the 45 pages.
No. She's an MD, and she's also on some different faculties. Her education, medical school, University of Michigan. She has that. She also has internships and graduate training. So she specializes in the area of psychiatry. She actually is an instructor in psychiatry in University of Michigan, I believe also Michigan State University, and I believe she also taught at Wayne State University for some period of time. She specialized in different areas such as the juvenile offenders, the juvenile under psychiatric care and those issues. So that was another reason. There are not a lot of experts that even want to take this on.
So they don't. So she won't just go back to the trial and look at the evidence from the trial. It contains this whole period that this person has been in prison.
Yes. And based on what he's done, based on his motion and what he's presented so far, it's his family history, other issues that were in his background that should be considered for this resentencing hearing. So she'll not only look at police reports, crime scene photos, autopsy, she'll do an evaluation of him, so she will meet in person with him and discuss things with him, and she will author a report and testify to that basis of her report and her report. So, because apparently the other side has done this, and based on what we can tell, he'll be testifying at the hearing in April.
Okay, and this whole thing, this law was just recently all changed, wasn't it, in the last
Yes.
couple of years? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I'm through. Thanks.
It's okay.
Commissioner Creed.
Thank you. So he's up in the UP, correct?
He is.
So do we assume the expense to transport him back here and then back up again? Who bears that
For
responsibility?
court proceedings or for this evaluation?
For court.
Court proceedings, the Michigan Department of Corrections, they will do it's called a writ, which brings a person from in custody to that. We do not pay for that. For
Okay.
court proceedings, we don't have to pay for moving him. I'm still working on some different ideas to cut down the travel expense for the doctor if you grant me the money. So I'm still working on things to try to make that as efficient and cost-effective as I can.
And I would assume that he would probably come down the day before the trial and probably spend the night and then go back the next day because of the time?
Yes,
So
I'm not sure how fast that will be.
He'll be housed at our jail then?
Yes, he would be.
Will he be away from everybody?
I'm not sure how, and I wouldn't want to speak for the sheriff, how they plan on doing it. Obviously, we would notify them that this person is coming so they can make plans accordingly. But yes, they're brought to the local facility.
All right. Hey, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Coonan.
Just a kind of a hypothetical question. If we did not grant that $20,000 sub, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be released, correct?
The decision about what will happen with him is left to the judge.
Right.
So, no, I couldn't tell you.
So somebody representing the state or the citizens is doing an evaluation besides, based upon his years of being in jail.
The only person that's evaluating him as such is someone that he has paid for.
But somebody in the juvenile or the penal system or wherever is evaluating his time in jail, whether they're going to recommend a positive or a negative recommendation based upon?
I don't know if they will or not. I don't know if there'll be an updated pre-sentence investigation. I don't know if they'll be required to do that or not.
So if we don't allocate the dollars, what happens based upon?
We will proceed to the hearing, and defense will have an expert to testify on his behalf, and we will not have an
And
expert.
the defense will say, release him, we got nobody there.
The position is, based on my understandings from pleadings, is defendant is requesting a term of years, and because he was sentenced in 95, they had, it was different than it is at present date, that you got credit, different type of credit scoring. Now it's truth in sentencing, and your minimum sentence is your minimum sentence.
Well,
So-
I'm going to vote to give the money, but I still think that there's somebody representing the people to say, you know, he's been in jail 25 years or whatever it is, and we don't recommend him being released. Is that a possibility?
If we don't retain someone, there's no one from Department of Corrections that will be evaluating him for such.
Thank you.
Yes, it seems excessive cost, but when will you know, when the trial proceeds, before a Bay County Circuit Judge, whether he has been granted an expert witness?
He already has been. We have
He
the
has
report
been?
from the expert, yes, we have the report. They were required to produce the report at a certain date, so we already have it.
Do you know what the cost was that they approved?
The order was sealed.
$2,000, $3,000 maybe?
I don't believe it's that low, no. I don't believe someone would do this work for that. The person came from New Jersey.
Is that a typical witness fee though? For your
For
office?
experts, it depends. Based on what the request was made, it lines up with probably the same hourly rate. But I don't know how many of these evaluations he's doing for SATO. So if he's doing more than one defendant, because obviously there's people throughout the state that are seeking a term of years.
And this would be Judge Gill or Judge Sharon or Judge Clyde that would handle this?
This
Retrial.
case, the verdict is in front of Judge Gill. And Judge Sharon has the other older case. It's not as old as this one. And then Judge Sharon has the case in front of him that's the newest one, and the individual I convicted in May. So,
All the same individual?
no, this is just for the Burgess case.
Yeah, and that's Judge Gill.
Judge Gill, and then Judge Sharon has two, yep.
I don't know. I would think you'd want to go with 10,000 or something, see how it goes. We don't know what's been approved. $20,000 is a lot of money for a testimony for maybe an hour maximum.
It's not just for the testimony.
I know, it's the research involved, but
I don't know if she would do it for that, but
Is it up to 20,000?
that's my estimate. It could be less. I just didn't know, because how long it takes to author this report, this isn't like a normal process or something that's been done for years. So everybody's still trying to figure out how to make these evaluations and these things. So it could be less than that, and if I can work on some of the travel things, I might be able to get that to be less also.
Commissioner Durancheck.
Thank you. In the whole state of Michigan, this is the only person that you interviewed that's an expert witness for something like this?
This is the only person that we found that would consider it, yes. Most people are not willing to be a witness for the prosecution.
That's all I have.
Well, I guess my question is, do we want to modify this motion to say up to a maximum of 20,000?
I think that's what it says.
That's what it says, I think. Third resolve from the bottom says up to 20,000.
Yeah, I've seen that word now.
Mr. Chair, one more question.
Yes.
So you mentioned 3 defendants. Are And would you anticipate $20,000 per defendant?
I'm not sure if it would be that much.
So we're talking $60,000.
It could be, in all honesty.
Could be a little more.
Presently, yes. One is, like I said, it's a new conviction, so there's not that much history. The other one, I think he's been in prison for maybe 8, 10 years. I can't remember off the top of my head, so there's not as much history there. But there's potential that I would have to make other requests, yes.
These are our Bay County judges, they're not Court of Appeals.
No, based on the
Just
new law,
retrial.
the two older cases, the people that have been in prison for a while, this is considered a resentencing. The one that's the newest conviction, we're still at the sentencing phase. We haven't even done the sentencing for the new one. So it's because no one really knows how to proceed with the new law and how we're actually supposed to do what we do in the courtroom. So there's been a lot of discussion, and we're still trying to figure out how to proceed.
So
in
this is
case-
unique to Bay County, no other counties are facing situations like this?
No, the whole state of Michigan. I believe Wayne County has between maybe around 140 juvenile lifer cases. Oakland County has, everyone I think has some of the smaller counties may not, it depends. It's the rate of crime. The bigger counties have more work, so they have more of these individuals that they have to address.
Commissioner Wright.
So are we to approve just the one for the expert witness for Judge Gill?
At this point,
At
the one
this
case,
time,
yes.
right?
Correct.
And then there won't be a decision made until it goes before Judge Sharon,
No, it will go in front of Judge Gill, we'll have a hearing,
right?
and then they'll make their arguments, we'll make our arguments. The basis, our belief is, at this time, the standard is the sentence stands, and defense will have to make an argument to move the judge away from the mandatory life in prison to a term of years. And we will argue to maintain the sentence that was given in 1995.
So what about the other two cases?
The other two cases, I'm not sure with, it's the People versus Copier. We don't have any timetables for that as of yet, because he's not close to the minimum sentence. Like I said, he's only been in maybe 8 or 10 years, and if a term of years is given, the minimum sentence is between 25 and 40 years. So because he isn't close to that time, even Sato represents him also, they haven't put that at the high of the priority list because they go to different counties, Sato does, and represent different people. So no one's pushing to move that along at this point. We have no dates or criteria set by the judge as of that. The newest one that was convicted in May, there's discussions, but we don't have a timetable per se, but yes, that will be coming up. So, but we haven't, defense hasn't had an expert to evaluate their person as of yet. I think they're working on that. So some things I know, and some, of course, defense shares with me when they, when it's appropriate.
Commissioner Durant.
I just want to know, what's the budget status currently for expert witness? What's in the prosecutor's budget?
We have a line item for witnesses, and that's for everything. Every case doesn't have anything to do with expert. I think it's $5,500 for the year. And because we have the burden to prove our cases, we have to provide witnesses for it. So every case from a misdemeanor up to, or you can be traffic, up to felony cases, comes out of that line item.
So are you saying then that the other counties that are going through this, that they're hiring expert witnesses and stuff, and have you checked into what they're using or who they're using?
Well, that's where I got this doctor. Her name is, this is someone.
She's doing all these other counties?
I don't know if she will do all the other counties or not. I'm not sure. Everybody's proceeding in a different, with their own cases at their own timetable.
Just seems like an awful lot of money.
Anyone else?
Commissioner Twain. See, it's a couple of weeks short of 18, you know, this raise, the age thing is percolating down in Lansing now that we're raising age to 18. And before they were 17, they were considered adults, but now there's a possibility it might be going to 18. I don't know if you have any opinion on that or not, because it's going to cost the county more money is what, the way it looks right now, so.
There is a discussion. Unfortunately, I don't make the rules of the game. They are provided for me, and I believe it's my responsibility. I have reviewed the Burtis case. I have read the autopsy report. I've seen the crime scene photos, and it was a brutal attack. She was murdered by stabbing and blunt force trauma. He used knives and wrenches on her, and it was a very brutal murder. Not that murder, any murder is good, but this was a very heinous offense. So I do not believe he should be let out into the public. I believe the original sentence was appropriate. It was before my time. I wasn't here for it. So, but I still believe that it's appropriate. So this is what's the hand that's been dealt me, and I'm trying to meet it. So that's why I'm requesting it.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Now,
Did you get Mike there? Okay. Motion carries. Under Bay County Sheriff, the revised Bangor Township, Bangor Schools Agreement for Road Patrol Deputy Service.
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Bay County Treasurer, the annual review of delinquent tax revolving fund.
So moved.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Bay County Drain Commissioner, 2018 assessments.
So moved.
support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Same sign, motion carries. Department of Corrections, Michigan Department of Corrections Probation and Parole Memorandum of Understanding for use with RICOH Copier.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Personnel Director, the tuition reimbursement for Craig Goulet from the Executive Office, what's your pleasure?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Commissioner Krieger.
Thank you. So, as you had brought up at our last meeting, I'm hoping that we're going to work with and bring in some better rules, regulations, control, making sure that there's more skin in the game than just us in authorizing reimbursements for tuition. So when it comes to negotiations, that it'll be addressed.
That is the plan, yes.
Okay. That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Commissioner Hurd? No. Anyone else? All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under G, we have the Director of Recreation and Facilities, the stonework, utility golf cart, and additional temporary labor for Pinconning Park. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on it? Commissioner Quinlan.
Thank you. Looking at the background information, it was nice to see that revenues are up $27,000.
$30,000 as of this morning.
How about expenditures?
We are under budget, and I can tell you what we are. We are at $122,000. Our revenue's at $161,000. So bottom line, right now, we're sitting at a $38,000 profit. Now, we still have a year to go, so that will look quite slightly, but Last year, we were right in the same boat, and we had a $24,000 profit at the end of the year. So I expect that or more.
Thank you. I like that information, and that's the kind of information I wanted to see when we discussed this other committee, or just adding information onto whether it's Ways and Means or the other committee on the health, or not the health department, on the community center, the golf course, the ice arena. I'd like to see that on a monthly basis if we, if we can get that. Expenditures, revenues, and we can see how all of the somewhat enterprise funds are doing outside of, within the county. I like good information.
Thank you, Mr. Kuhn. Mr. Herrick, do you have a question?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Commissioner Durant,
I'm good.
you're good? Anyone else? Must have been 15. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Administrative Services Director, the BCTV Sponsorship Agreement Renewals. What is your pleasure?
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Commissioner Brigade.
Have we talked to the county or the schools to see if they've changed their mind yet?
City.
Or maybe city, I mean, the city and the school system were in it at one time. I guess, maybe periodically we need to ask them if they're interested in getting back into the cost sharing.
Yes, we have.
I know the city commission meetings were always pretty, a lot of people watch those. They usually had some lively sessions, and maybe they have some more money, but I think it's something we should maybe ask them yearly if they're interested in coming back in.
There's very early discussion right now going on, but they have, we're currently talking through and actually waiting for them to get back to us on something, so.
Good.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next, under Director of Department of Aging, we got the renewal of the Kawkawlin Township and Hampton Township site agreements. What is your pleasure?
So move.
Support?
Have a motion and support, any discussion on those? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next is the renewal for the Williams Township site agreement.
So move.
Support?
I have a motion and support, Commissioner Krieger.
Can we at some point get an update on how the numbers are for the different facilities that have lunches provided?
Yes.
Are we going up, down, staying the same?
We're going actually up in Williams Township. Yep, so we're actually, I can get you those numbers.
Yeah, I'm curious, because back a number of years ago, I think we had to close a couple sites because
Yeah.
the numbers didn't justify the
Yeah,
expense.
that would be Bangor and Pinconning, yep.
Yep, if we could get that, that'd be wonderful, thank you.
Not a problem, we'll do that.
Yeah, if you could get them to us, or to Deanne, maybe before next meeting,
We'll do,
okay?
we'll do.
Commissioner Eric.
Yeah, I was at the community center today, trying to drive a little bit there, 60 people there today, which was a pretty good crowd.
That's a good group.
You know, I mean, doing what, it's being done right, I can just say that.
I'm inviting you all, next Monday is the 25th anniversary for Riverside, to come and have lunch, and if you want lunch, please let me know, and we will get that set up. But it is Riverside's 25th anniversary next month.
Congratulations.
Next Monday, yeah.
One more thing,
Yes.
isn't Thursday the barbecue?
Yes, this Thursday is the barbecue out at the State Park. Yep.
I know they said they had 120 people signed up for that.
Yes, yes.
Amazing.
It's one of ours, and our El Salvo River trip is completely full. That's 104. So we're growing.
Good job.
Keeping seniors active.
That's right.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next, we have the 911 Director proposed address ordinance.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support, any discussion on that? Commissioner Herring.
is this gonna be based upon this on the International Fire Code? You know, there's I believe there's an address ordinance in the, just so you know, if you don't know, I think there used to be a piece in there about addresses on buildings and stuff, so, you know, so, just so that there isn't a conflict, I think, basically, you know.
Yeah, we'll make sure in the process we bring those stakeholders in, so we'll have definitely someone from fire and public safety on the PD side as well to make sure all those different folks are invested in the process.
I think, I mean, it's a great idea. I just, like I said, just don't want to see, I hate to see it get any conflicts with there's so many townships and everybody does something, and some that use, they may all use the same fire code now, but at one time, when I was doing that, there's a couple different ones out there, you know, and some townships didn't use any.
Very appreciative of and understanding that, especially at 911, each municipality has different nuances in the code and how that affects different responses, so for sure, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So with this being a countywide ordinance, are they gonna have to adjust their internal ones in each different jurisdiction then?
The thought would be to align with our ordinance, and they could go above and beyond. If they have their own ordinance and they wanted to opt out of the county ordinance, they could do that. So they could go above and beyond with their own ordinance or just meet our ordinance. The thought when I sat with Amber was to be strategic about this and put together a draft ordinance and then get in front of each one of the municipalities sometime in the springtime, have them approve that all kind of in one lump in a month or two period, and then come back with approvals from each one of the municipalities. And those that would opt out would have to have their own ordinance.
But it has to be more stringent, not less stringent than the county ordinance, right?
If they had their own ordinance,
The goal is that it would be more stringent. The difficulty that we have as a county is that this is a buy-in type of issue, and I think most of the other municipalities want to buy in because they would like a consistent numbering system and they would like someone else to do the work for them.
yeah, when we spoke to the municipalities, we have had no pushback or friction. Initially, there's a little bit when they realized that we're kind of taking some of the workload off of them and making things uniform, then they're much more comfortable with the process.
So you think it'll be well received?
Yeah, so far, yeah, we met with the Township's authority, talked to the city, Bay City, and other folks, and talked to the road commission, all the interested parties. So far, public safety, everyone is on board.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, the Equalization Director for the appointment. What is your pleasure there?
So moved. Support.
We have a motion to support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. It's actually apportionment. Under L, we have the BCATS Director, Utilization of Federal Transportation Planning Funds and the Asset Management Funds in accordance with the fiscal year 2019 Unified Work Program.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is the Health Department, Business Services Manager, Varnish, Michigan Babies 2.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion?
I have a question. Joel, since you're... Now, fluoride treatments were a big thing when I was a kid, and they went away from them, and now
They've always been here. And
Oh, they have?
They haven't gone away.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not the kind of treatment that you and I had when we were kids where it was a painful thing that you had to bite down into.
Yeah.
This is actually, it's kind of akin to, they take a small amount of fluoride varnish and they put it on a little brush, and then it actually tastes pretty good too. And they put it on a child's tooth or teeth. They can receive up to 4 treatments per year. They usually, if they're at their dentist office getting prophylactic treatment or preventative treatment, they usually get 2, so we can give another 2 as well. We see a lot of children come through that have not seen a dentist here.
That's great. Yep, good program.
Commissioner Krieger.
So with us providing a certain amount of dental services, has that program been everything you thought it would be, as far as the number of people that we're helping?
As far as WIC goes, or for this particular service?
Well, do we not have also some other programs that address dental hygiene?
Well, we are currently under contract with, if you're talking about My Community Dental Centers.
Yep.
And we are waiting for them to come up with a prime location to open their clinic. And it was supposed to happen this year. They had a changeover in administration there, and they put some projects on hold.
Okay.
Bay County was one of them. I will say this, is that the number of folks that need dental services in Bay County still remains pretty high. And we have been in contact with My Community Dental Centers. In fact, they will be having their annual meeting here in town next Friday. And I'm personally going to speak to the CEO and the operating officer, and we are actually going to look at some locations as well, with the thought of in the early part or mid 2019 or even sooner, we could get a dental clinic open.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was that we had already locked that all in, but...
We got the agreement, but it's really a matter of finding a location. There may be some construction on their end, but they also have, they had talked about maybe finding some existing vacant dental clinics that could be used.
Thank you.
Commissioner Reed.
Great Lakes Bay Health Center out on Monitor Road has added some dental work. We got a tour of it a little while ago, and they had
Sure.
a big dental center. I know there's a lot of Medicaid patients that go there also.
There are 19,000 people in Bay County that have Medicaid, and so they can't take care of everybody. And there are approximately 20,000 people in Bay County that have Medicare, and they don't regularly have access or dental insurance. They may have some supplemental insurance as well. So the need is quite great out there.
They usually wait till the last minute, so it's real painful, and they come to the urgent care for their medication and try to get treatment then.
That happens quite frequently here in Bay County, yes.
So Joe, are they still looking like Kawkawlin North, or to service, from that particular area, or the location south of that, or?
There's a variety of different locations that they've actually talked about. They've actually talked about looking at some vacant storefronts on Center Avenue here. And the thought would be too is that there's a great need from some of the other outlying counties, particularly the Thumb area, that would be easy access for those folks as well. That clinic would be designed specifically or primarily for Bay County residents, but there's no reason that others that would need those services wouldn't be able to access them too. So one of the key things though with any kind of dental clinic here is that there's not a lot already existing, and to get everything that you need, including the chairs and all of the plumbing and everything, that's kind of an expense that My Community Dental Centers would have to incur as well.
So they're not tied into anything looking north or anything looking south or east, so they're looking more central then?
Because the majority of the folks with Medicaid are here in Bay City.
Okay.
That's the overwhelming majority. They have discussed some locations there. I believe that they're open to a variety of different locations. What they don't want to have is find a center that is difficult to access and is not on a bus route, because that's where they find that the majority of their clients do actually use public transportation. And so that's an essential element. And the ease of getting into those services as well. But with that being said, they may be open to looking at a more northern site.
As long as it's on a bus route?
As long as it's on a bus route, yes.
Okay. So, all right, well, I travel the county a little bit. Anyone else? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Next is Animal Control Manager, clear the shelter of dogs and cats events.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support, any discussion on this one? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Old school. Under O, we have payables, the general fund.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion and support, any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, Finance Officer, we have Information Systems Director, bringing us analysis of general fund equity. Motion to receive would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next is the update of the Executive Directive 2007-11.
Move receive.
Support.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Next is state notification of new fund 260, Indigent Defense Fund, motion to receive.
So move.
Support.
A motion and support, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Well, we come to referrals, I don't believe we had any. Didn't have any unfinished business that I recall. Any new business? Any closed session required?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Miscellaneous, anybody? Commissioner Brigade.
I mentioned we had a Health and Human Services meeting at MAC, and Michigan Indigent Defense was sort of at the top of the list, and a lot of pushback from a lot of the counties having to front the money, and there's even an interpretation from a law firm that it's a violation of the law that we have to front the money. So usually, sometimes that leads to litigation when you're violating the law or making you violate the law. So I'm not sure where it's going to go, but there is a lot of pushback on it, and hopefully there'll be some change. And raising age was the other big issue. Raising it from 17 to 18. There's some concerns about there's no funding in the bills that are going through the counties to take care of the juveniles that will be coming into the system that before went to the state. So they're looking for more clarification and some funding for the counties that have to fund the 17-year-olds local system.
Yeah, I heard that, read that it's up, tentative reports up to 89 million a year to change that over, that the state would have to come up with. That's on the high end, but, you know. Unfunded mandates, yes.
That was it.
Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn is always in order.
Okay, apparently there wasn't any announcements. We are adjourned.